Mr. Oliverio, are you on it? Not want to talk. Mr. Oliverio, come up here to the door, please. Hands inside the stuff. Keep your hands in there. Stand up. Nope, stand up. Put your hands inside.
Can you hear me? Yes. All right, you're here today charged with misdemeanors. You have this old case that's in warrant status. There's an allegation that on April 2nd of 2025, you violated city ordinance by driving on a suspended license. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. And you have this other charge, another City of Taylor charge. There's an allegation that on April 2nd of 2025, you were in possession of a controlled substance. So you have that case, that's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days and $500. Then you have another driving on a suspended case. And again, that's a misdemeanor alleged to have occurred on April 11th of 2023. And that's in warrant status because you were given a payment plan 2 years ago. And I'll go on ahead and guess that you didn't make any payments on that. Did. It looks like it was a bond forfeiture and a tax garnishment filed, but otherwise you had it. Sir, I have to go over your rights with you. You understand you have a right to an attorney. It's my understanding that you've waived that right and you do not want to meet with the attorney.
Yes, there's no need for it right now, ma'am. Not wasting court's time.
All right, well, that's not wasting the court's time. That's ensuring that you're advised of your constitutional rights, sir. That's the opposite of wasting the court's time. So here we go. You have a right to be released on bond if it's appropriate. I see that you have, these are driving offenses. The other one's a misdemeanor possession case. But Mr. Oliverio, you also have Romulus warrants, Allen Park warrants, Lincoln Park warrants, and Dearborn Height warrants. Let me see what your warrants are for. Oh my goodness, though. This is your criminal history. Look, sir, you started your life of crime like in the 90s.
I stopped committing crime. Again, I'm on Social Security, I'm on disability. My life of crime stopped a long time ago. I got caught driving without a license and some drugs, and that was it. I stopped breaking houses, all that shit a long time ago. I'm sorry for my language. It's all adding up, and I know it's
though, because like I don't want you cussing. Like, calm down. We're having a discussion. Listen, but you understand when I'm setting bond, I try and look at whether or not you're a danger to the community and a flight risk. Like, these are reasonable things for me to be looking at. So let's see, you got a brandishing a firearm case.
Oh my God, man. There's oh my God. There's a BB gun. Are you kidding me?
You have a, listen, Mr. Oliverio, listen to me. You have a right to remain silent. Don't tell me what kind of gun it was, because you're saying things to me that could be used against you in your other case. Just, can you listen to me? Okay, I'm going to just talk over you if you won't listen. You got an open intox warrant out of Romulus. You've got a traffic warrant. This Lincoln Park one for driving on a suspended. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm under a lot of stress. I ain't taking my medicine.
Listen, you have a fraud warrant out for out of Allen Park. You got a fraud warrant out of Lincoln Park. You got a larceny out of Lincoln Park. You got a felony out of Dearborn for dangerous drugs, the felony. And that's a warrant. They're going to pick you up, I'm sure. And then you got another one for retail fraud, 3rd degree. So these are all the bench warrants that you have pending.
It says I have all this stuff going on in the counter. I check the reason on my own account, for bond. I take care of all this other stuff that I was unaware of. I don't know how all this is happening to me right now. I feel like this is just too much. Sweating
All right.
down here. My meds, I'm off my meds for 4 days. I mean, obviously I got a lot going on. I take care of a lot of things here. So,
All right.
it's overwhelming.
I hear you. I mean, but this is a mess of your own making. You don't show up at court, and then you got all these places that want you. So on the failing to display a valid license, that's not something I've ever given anyone jail time on. In that case, I'm just giving you $1,000 personal bond. All right, and that's on 0798. Don't thank me yet. Then I've got the driving on a suspended, that's 1063. Setting aside all these warrants, obviously. On that one, I'm also giving you $1,000 personal bond. All right, and then you've got this possession of controlled substance case.
That was possession. It was yesterday.
Hi, okay, yeah, this is on April 2nd at 25. You might be pending new charges. I don't have them yet. These are on your old charges, but on that case, I'm not giving you a personal bond because you don't come to court and the allegation is you had meth on you. Might explain some problems, sir. On that case, you have a $5,000 10% bond. These are your bond conditions. You're to appear in court as directed, not to leave the state without permission of the court. You're not to commit any new crimes while with the court of change of address or phone number. You cannot possess access or have access to firearms or dangerous weapons. You cannot consume alcohol or illegal drugs. You may be subject to testing on demand. So those. And you also can't operate a motor vehicle without a valid license, which goes without saying. We'll get you a court date as soon as possible, sir.
Next is gonna be Mr. Gaglia. He also works just speak.
All right, let's break this down carefully because this hearing may have seemed chaotic, but legally, it was methodical. What we witnessed here is a textbook example of how minor charges can snowball into a serious custody situation when someone repeatedly fails to appear in court. On paper, Mr. Alvaro was facing misdemeanors, driving on a suspended license, and possession of a controlled substance. Individually, those charges carry a maximum of 90 days in jail and up to a $500 fine. In many courtrooms, especially for first-time offenders or compliant defendants, these might result in fines, probation, or diversion programs. But here's the turning point: warrant status. The judge immediately flagged that 2 of these cases were already in warrant status due to failure to comply with a previous payment plan and failure to appear. That changes everything. Courts rely heavily on compliance. If you don't show up, don't pay, or don't follow conditions, you become what the court considers a potential flight risk. And bond decisions are largely about 2 things. Are you a danger to the community? Are you likely to come back to court? Now, when the judge pulled up his criminal history and said you started your life of crime in the 90s, that wasn't theatrics, it was context for bond determination. Judges are legally allowed to consider prior criminal history when setting bond. And when multiple jurisdictions, Romulus, Allen Park, Lincoln Park, Dearborn Heights, have active bench warrants, that signals a pattern of non-compliance. Let's talk about that emotional moment. When Mr. Alvaro said he was off his medication for 4 days and felt overwhelmed, that's real. Courtrooms can be intimidating, the pressure is intense, but legally speaking, being overwhelmed does not erase outstanding warrants. The judge actually handled that moment with notable restraint. She corrected him when he tried to discuss another firearm-related case, protecting his right to remain silent. That's important. She prevented him from self-incriminating on an open matter. That's procedural fairness in action. Now here's where the ruling gets interesting. Despite the criminal history and multiple warrants, the judge granted $1,000 personal bonds on the license-related charges. A personal bond means he doesn't have to pay up front, he just promises to return. That's leniency. She even stated she's never given jail time for failing to display a valid license. That tells us she was distinguishing between traffic-level offenses and more serious allegations. But on the possession of methamphetamine charge, that's where the court drew the line. Because it involved alleged controlled substances and because of his history of failing to appear, the judge imposed a $5,000 10% bond. That means he would need to post $500 to secure release. This wasn't arbitrary, it was calibrated, high enough to ensure accountability, but not excessively punitive for a misdemeanor. And then came strict bond conditions. No new crimes, no leaving the state, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms, drug testing upon demand, no driving without a valid license. These conditions are legally standard but tailored here due to his background, including prior firearm and drug. Related allegations. So what does this case really show us? It highlights how the system escalates when compliance breaks down. A suspended license case alone, manageable. A possession misdemeanor alone, often negotiable. But layered with years of unresolved warrants and missed court appearances, the court's trust erodes. Now let's zoom out. This wasn't a sentencing, this was a bond hearing. The judge did not determine guilt, she determined conditions for release while the case proceeds. That distinction matters. Mr. Alvaro is presumed innocent unless proven guilty. But bond decisions operate on risk assessment, not verdicts. So here's the bigger question for you. At what point does personal accountability outweigh second chances? If someone has multiple outstanding warrants across cities, should courts keep extending personal bonds, or does public safety demand stricter measures? And what do you think about the judge's tone, firm but controlled? Was she appropriately tough, or did this feel like someone drowning under systemic complexity? Cases like this remind us that courtrooms aren't just about dramatic outbursts, they're about balancing constitutional rights, community safety, and individual responsibility in real time. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.